So first of all, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land and waters of the Shire, the people of the Yuin Nation, and show our respect to the elders past and present. And I'd like to welcome you all here today. I'd like to welcome Mayor Christy McBain, Councillor Joe Dodds, who is our representative from the Council to Mumbulla Foundation. There aren't any other councillors here today, are there? No. And my fellow board members who are scattered around here, and you, the grant recipients. We're delighted to have this grants programme here again this year. It's slightly less than normal because our fundraising abilities were a bit diminished this year, but we have still, with the help of our partners, the council, of course, give us $25,000 a year, and we match that with our $25,000 and more if we can. Even so, this year we did have the grant applications totaled 121,000, a bit more than that actually, but 121,000, and we have managed to approve $50,533 worth. We had 19 applications approved. How many applications did we actually receive? Can you remember? 31. Great, thank you. Yes, so we had 31 applications and we've managed to pass through 19 of them. And you're the lucky ones. Okay, so I don't think I need to say, and you all know about the Mumbulla Foundation, don't you? We partner with the council. We're all volunteers. We do our own fundraising. We collect donations if we possibly can, sponsorships. And apart from the grants program, we also fund school vouchers for prize giving nights, $50 a voucher for each school. We also give scholarships to Bega Valley Wollongong campus, $1,000 for six students each year. And we're also in partnership with the Foundation for Rural and Retention Renewal, FRRR, yes. And they give us, we do a matching program with them as well, and they also give us a separate grant, and we give that comes in the form of target vouchers, which we allocate to the schools for needy children to buy uniform, books, anything to do with the school. That's about it. That's all that's our full program for the year. And now we'll get along with the best bits, handing out the grants. Yes, so Fling. And you all know who Fling is, so I'll let you do the honours.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Right. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to express our gratitude to the Mumbulla Foundation for supporting this important project. Your investment has made a significant impact, not only on Fling, but on the young people that we work with. My name is Gabrielle Rose, and I'm the Co-Artistic Director of Fling Physical Theatre with Rob McCready. We are a regional performing arts organisation based in Bega. Our purpose is to inspire, engage and activate our community by delivering relevant and innovative art experiences to people within our Shire and beyond. My Black Dog is a performance and learning experience for young people to explore mental health in a safe and supported way. The project's made up of two main components, the creation and presentation of a live performance to high school and public audiences that articulates the issues and stories of regional youth and mental health. It's been created in collaboration with local youth, professional artists, mental health advisors, school welfare officers, and features a cast from the Fling Company, aged 14 to 18 years. So far, the work we have done has revealed that young people have a lot to say about their mental health and their well-being. It has revealed the complexity of the issues that exist within our community and has accented the importance of this project being one of co-authorship with the young people involved in all aspects of the project. The performance will be presented in 2019. The second component of the project is the delivery of art and wellbeing workshops created for and co-delivered by youth, focusing on preventative action using the creative arts to explore ideas such as strength, resilience, trust, empowerment, and the power of thoughts. As this project unfolds, we are seeing the true importance and value of youth-led initiatives that invite open conversation, honesty, and expression of what is going on for these people at a very particular time in their lives. This project aims to complement the support networks that exist in the Shire, such as the Teen Clinic and Headspace, whilst providing a new approach to mental health education and addressing stigma. If you'd like to know anything more about the project, please come and speak to me, or if you know of a young person who might benefit from being involved, let me know, that'd be great. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I don't know if you would like to say a few words, Joe, or...
Well, maybe just to thank the board, to thank the community who supports Mumbulla, but also to sort of flag that Mumbulla is in the first stages of a bit of a revamp, and so what we've had a little bit of a group come together and look at how Mumbulla might evolve in the future to meet the needs of the community in more targeted ways or more innovative ways or ways that have more carry through, using the benefit that we pull together with the grants money. Because I think there's more that we can do even just with the same money that we've got now. And I also wanted to recognise the immense amount of work. You wouldn't think how much work goes into simply getting money, not even in a year of fundraising, but getting that money dispersed out into the community, into the projects that are the most valuable for that year, and encouraging other people to reapply if you didn't get into this round, because we can't meet everyone's. But it's... yeah, what Mumbulla does is a very careful process of figuring out what's the best value we can get out of that funding for this year and what projects are going to bring the community forward the most, where the most need is in that year, where's the most innovation in that year. And then there's the school, what's it called, the FRRR project as well. So there's a lot of background work that goes into making sure that money goes out and is well used in the community. So I just wanted to recognise how much hard work is done, and also in usual years how much hard work is done in fundraising, which this year we had to pull back a little bit. Certainly the Tathra fire had an effect on our organisation because there was a lot of charitable donations coming into the Shire as a result of that, and we didn't want to overtax the giving community, because for Mumbulla it is about money raised here goes back into this community, and we thought the community was doing an awesome job supporting Tathra and the other communities who've suffered this year through those fire events. So we backed off a little to give that space a little bit less pressure and make sure that we weren't contributing to any load for the community. So expect to see some changes in the next year, 18 months. Expect those to be surprising, and yes, we might be surprised by some of them. Yeah, but it's certainly been a really important process for us to have a good hard look at why we exist and what we can do in that space. And the first question has to be, should we exist at all? And I think as we've explored that, we've seen that there's huge value in the foundation and the work that we do and the load we take off council. Because, as I said, it's not an easy job in getting these grants and the FRRR together and dispersing that money. So huge value in the work of the foundation. Expect to see some great new things coming. We've got some new board members possibly in the offing. So, hopefully there's going to be some great changes and some shifts in direction.
So next one is Bega Valley Family Daycare, and
Joanna Rideau.
Joanna.
Hello.
Here we are, Joanna.
Thank
Congratulations.
you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Let us know what you're
I'm
doing.
going to. I'm going to shamelessly promote family daycare right now. Yeah, so I'm Joanna Rideau. I'm the service manager at Bega Valley Family Daycare, and I've made sure that I don't miss a thing that I want to tell you because I've written it all down. So Bega Valley Family Daycare is an in-home childcare service. We were founded as a social enterprise by community members over 30 years ago. This year is officially our 30th anniversary. Our service has grown over all those years to become a mainstay of the childcare options in the Valley, particularly valuable to families in our small outlying towns where no other childcare service exists. Today we have 25 qualified educators providing care from their own homes for close to 400 children a week, which is quite significant. We're extremely proud that our service is assessed at exceeding the national quality standard by New South Wales Department of Education. This rating places us in the top 12% of family daycare services in New South Wales. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We focus very much on innovation. We really want our educators to express their passions in their service. We've got one educator in Bermagui who has a nature-based service. Every adult who goes there wants to stay. So she'll spend the day out at Mystery Bay. The children will be making flatbreads and creating cubbies. They take no toys, they make their own entertainment, and it's just fabulous. She does school program as well. We've got another carer who you may be aware of, Hayley Reynolds, who is in collaboration with Imlay House. She's actually got a designated room within Imlay Aged Care Facility, and she's got an intergenerational playroom in there. Three mornings a week, her children go in, and she's focused on building meaningful, natural relationships between children and the aged residents. And she was featured for a full day on Grandparents' Day on ABC News. I don't know if anybody saw it, but it's just out of the box fantastic. And every educator brings something special, and that's part of our ethos, is encouraging that and fostering that. So our service is also committed to advocating for children and their rights, and it was with this in mind that we first conceived the idea of hosting a community fun day during Children's Week 2019. Our vision is to offer families a day of fun and free child-focused activities, whilst at the same time promoting local child health and family services and building networks and relationships between services. It's also an opportunity to celebrate and bring awareness to children's rights, needs and achievements. We're so grateful to the Mumbulla Foundation for their generosity in supporting our vision, and we're now looking forward to organising this event and getting our many wonderful community services on board to join us.
So now we have the Bega Valley Weavers.
My name is Mog Bremner. I'm a weaver. You might have noticed. I'm a member of the Bega Valley Weavers. Bega Valley Weavers are passionate about all textile arts, not just weaving. I happen to be a weaver. Weaving is probably one of the oldest technologies mankind has ever produced. There is evidence going back 9,000 years. We're using something slightly more modern, thanks to Mumbulla Foundation. Our project is about providing a day's workshop for people affected by the Tathra bushfires. Weaving is a wonderful way of being absorbed in something that you make with your own hands. So, for instance, scarf, cloth, this is weaving. This is the clothes you're wearing, a lot of them will be woven. You can do that by hand. This is a homemade version. Thanks to the Mumbulla Foundation, we're actually going to buy some professionally, properly made ones. In the workshop, the people will learn from absolute scratch to make things, bright colours, scarves, bags, Christmas stockings, another scarf. Once you get started, you just can't stop. This is made by one lady, I might add in our group. So, thank you to Mumbulla, the ladies in Tathra and the gentlemen. Weaving was traditionally a male occupation, by the way. Everyone thinks it's female these days, but traditionally they never let the women near the looms. If you want to join us, we also do wonderful morning teas.
So now we have the Cobargo School of Arts Committee. Is it David? No, David. Santa, yes, David Santa.
G'day. Oh,
Congratulations.
sorry, I jumped the gun, I think.
No, that's okay.
Thank you kindly.
Congratulations.
This is lovely.
Let us know what you're going to
Okay.
use it for.
Well, I'd like to thank the Mumbulla Foundation for this wonderful grant. The School of Arts Hall is a wonderful old building. It's over 100 years old. And over the last couple of years, we've gone through a process of upgrading and refurbishment, including painting inside and out, recycled air conditioning in the main hall, extra power points, stage upgrades, curtains and lighting and all those sorts of things. This grant will help us by giving us reverse cycle air conditioning in the supper room, which can be quite cold. As I say, the hall's gone through a major refurbishment, and we have a particularly strong committee at the moment doing all this, and it's just a beautiful part of the Cobargo scene. Thank you kindly.
And now we have the Eden Access Centre. Vera? And what's your act going to be, Vera?
Okay, my name's Vera Clark and I'm from the Eden Community Access Centre. We've just celebrated this year our 18th birthday, providing a range of programmes and services to the Eden community. We started off with just providing sort of computer training and access to computers through grants from the Networking the Nation back in 2000. But since then, we've really sort of expanded our services through to almost, we hope we will become almost a community hub. That's what we're hoping for this year. We've been successful in getting some support from Family and Community Services to set up a room for visiting services. When I first moved to Eden, I was told, oh, you know you're moving to the end of the line. Well, Eden is the end of the line, believe you me, as far as, sort of services for the community are concerned. So what we're hoping to do, and what we have been doing in part this year, is providing access to visiting services that don't have a permanent sort of home in Eden. So they can come and, people can either drop in or by appointment. We're very, very grateful to the Mumbulla Foundation for this grant, which is for office furniture. Which will help us set up not only that room but our facilities as well. Like all the organisations here, we run on the smell of an oily rag, and so we're very, very grateful for the support that we've had this year and in previous years for the Mumbulla Foundation. Thank you.
Now we've got the Far South Coast Maternity Advisory Group. Oh, but where are the babies gone?
Too noisy.
Oh, they weren't. They were cute.
Thank you very much.
Come around this end.
Hello everyone, my name's Renee Mack. I'm a clinical psychologist in Mumbulla and I'm a member of the Far South Coast Maternity Advisory Group. We're a consumer group that we're attached to the Bega Hospital, and we provide advice to the maternity service on what consumers want and need. And we put in the grant for this money, thank you very much, to provide pregnancy loss kits. So for women who lose their pregnancies. So we've got a little kit that they get which has advice around support services, but also a few nice bits and pieces like a scented candle, tissues, and some nice tea bags. So that's one of the ways we're going to use this money. And the other way is Are You OK Day? So running an event for mums and parents in particular, because I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but it's a statistic around, a statistic around when women are most likely to commit suicide, and it's in the first 12 months after giving birth. So that's the peak over the entire course of a woman's life, and we often think that having children is quite protective of suicide, but it's actually one of those times it's quite poses a vulnerability. So thank you very much.
And now we have Pambula Rotary, and I think David is coming up for that.
Transport. We're doing a driving training roadmap. Transport has long been an issue in the Bega Valley, where the geographical spread of townships and limited access to public service impacts significantly on people's capacity to be fully engaged in their community. In rural communities like the Bega Valley, having driver's licence is a gateway to improve employment, civic and social opportunities, and for many young people and people with vulnerable and disadvantaged groups, obtaining a driver's licence can be difficult, which compounds their disadvantage, particularly in securing employment. In response to this identified issue, and liaising with a number of other community groups, the Rotary Club of Pambula has established an interagency working group to facilitate programs that will better provide access and support to young and vulnerable people to obtain their driver's licence and to be safe drivers on our roads. It quickly became clear to the group that there is a need for more resources in this area. There's also the underutilisation issue with the existing programs due to lack of awareness within the community and what's available. The project will develop an information pack about programs available locally to assist young and vulnerable people to access driver training opportunities to obtain their Ls and Ps. These programs include the DLAP, the Driver's Licence Access Program, funded by the RMS and run locally by PCYC, the Rotary Youth Driver Awareness, Safer Driver Course, free for some groups, subsidised for others, and Keys to Drive, offering a free driving lesson. In addition to these established programs, it is anticipated that in early 2019, a learner driver mentoring program will be set up and running, with local Rotary clubs will be also working in obtaining a driver trainer simulator for their local area. Information about these programs will be included in the roadmap, including details on what's available, costs, target groups and referral processes. The aim is for potential participants and referrers to be well informed about what's available in current programs to be better utilised to optimise benefits for people in need. The grant funding is able to printing 500 double-sided roadmap resources along with 50 poster-sized display versions. In-kind contributions from involved groups will get resources ready for printing and granting. Funding will be used to assist in the printing costs, distribution of the finished product, a roadmap to the drivers' training in Bega Valley will also be managed through a kind support by the 3 Rotary clubs, Bega, Mumbulla and Pambula, working through the schools, community organisations such as, hopefully I got this right, Katungal, Twofold and Campbell Page and the PCYC. So, Mumbulla, after all that, thanks very much.
Excellent. Okay, so Flourish Australia, and there is your cheque, and you, I don't know who you are.
I'm Prem Kranti.
Right.
And I'm Lauren from Flourish Australia.
Congratulations, and
Thank
please
you.
come and tell us your story.
Okay. So firstly, I just want to express my gratitude to Mumbulla Foundation and the council, and I just feel really grateful to live in a place that supports the community so consistently and with a really good awareness and care around what does our community need and how do we go about bringing that forward and giving opportunities to everyone in our community, not just people who can afford them. So my name's Prem Kranti. I teach mindfulness, yoga and trauma-sensitive yoga, and it's a term of trauma-sensitive yoga classes that I'll be offering for the clients of Flourish, for women who find themselves in domestic violence situations, homelessness and other pretty challenging life stages, which Lauren will talk a little bit about as well. So the trauma-sensitive yoga aims to establish a positive connection. First of all, a connection. I have a body is number one. And then looking at how can movement with awareness, with a gentle, supportive approach, how can that foster a healthy and a positive relationship with the body? And I don't know if any of you have heard of Bessel van der Kolk. He's a pioneer in working with trauma, effects of trauma in the body and in the mind. And they've conducted yoga programs over many years in Boston and many other parts now in the US. And there was a group of 20 women who had experienced quite severe trauma, and they entered into this program of trauma-sensitive yoga. It went for 20 weeks though. We've only got 6, so there's real scientific and medical evidence that these practices are really so supportive in taking people through a healing journey. And so I'm really excited to be part of that. Thank you. And thanks to Flourish as well for choosing me.
Thanks to Mumbulla and thanks to Prem Kranti for being available, her level of knowledge, and I'm just really grateful that we can provide a service to women who, it's mostly women I would say, but who knows who will be coming along, but that's generally the people that I support have been through quite significant and are in the midst of quite significant stressful situations. It's just such a blessing, and I think it's really going to help the ladies that I support to come along to something for themselves and just be there and learn some tools so that they don't have to feel this stress and go around these things in their minds so much, that they can bring it into their body and try and move forward. So thanks, Mumbulla Foundation.
So now we have Mumbulla, and it's Michelle.
I just wanted to acknowledge the amazing contribution that the Mumbulla Foundation make to this community. I know as a small community group, we would flounder without the assistance that these guys provide, so just wanted to acknowledge that. It's wonderful. And I'll just tell you a little bit about my project, or our project. I'm the project coordinator down at Mumbulla. I'm sure you've all went out there running and riding your bikes down there and know what a wonderful site that we've got going in Mumbulla. So what we're actually going to be doing, it sounds rather dull to amongst all these incredible projects that are going on, we're buying a trailer. Now, you might think that's funny, but I tell you, when I told my volunteers that we were getting a trailer, they were very excited. Because at the moment, we transport materials around the site with wheelbarrows. And so with the incredible amount of work that those volunteers do, this is just going to help them feel like they're being supported, and that they'll come back again next week and help pull more weeds or mow more paths. And the other really fabulous thing about having a new trailer means that all our fleet of mowers can actually now get transported to be serviced properly without having to rely on the other volunteers providing their own assets to help us out. So I just want to say thank you very much on behalf of the volunteers at Mumbulla.
Thank you, and
thank
enjoy
you.
your trailer. Right. So now we've got the Kwama Progress Association. And you are...
Thank you. I'm Richard Parker.
Richard.
Yes.
Nice to meet you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thanks. Yes, my name's Richard Parker. I'm presently president of the QPA. So firstly, a big thank you to Mumbulla for the grants they provide. The Kwama Progress Association Incorporated is privileged to be a recipient of a grant and take part in today's ceremony. And I'd also like to congratulate the other recipients of grants today. The QPA is comprised of a small dedicated group of people who strive to enhance the lives of those in the Kwama village and its surrounds. We hold community events such as fairs, dinners and a New Year's Eve party, which is very much a community sort of get-together. We also organise activities to enhance the look and amenity of Kwama, the most recent of which was the planting of crepe myrtle trees on the main roads in and out of the village, and this was done in conjunction with Bega Valley Shire Council. On this occasion, we applied for a grant to do historical research to locate unidentified graves in the Kwama Cemetery. The ultimate aim of this is so that the relatives and friends of those may spend time in the cemetery reflecting upon those for whom this was their last resting place. Fires and floods throughout Kwama and the passage of time and the still recalled very damaging bushfires in 1952 meant that many wooden grave markers were lost. So our aim is to identify those who were interred there and locate their grave sites and distinguish them with appropriate markers if we can achieve that. So we will engage a historian who will utilise all available resources to gather relevant information. Part of the process will involve collecting useful information in meetings with families in the area and others whose family members are interred there. I'm sure that there will be lengthy discussions with members of the families who have lived in the area for generations, chatting about the lives and subsequent loss and burial of those family members will help shape the findings, and we expect to learn much about those things that presently seem to be lost. So again, Mumbulla, thank you very much. We really appreciate this and all that you do for the Bega Valley community. Thank you.
So now we have the South Coast History Society. Thank you, and Andrew. Congratulations, Andrew.
Thank you very much. Hi, my name's Andrew McManus. I'm the Vice President of the South Coast History Society, unanimously elected by the 4 people who are at the meeting. And I'd like to express our Society's thanks to the Mumbulla Foundation for their very generous grant, which we will be making good use of. The South Coast History Society has been overseeing, if you care to put it that way, a project called A History of the Bega Shire in 101 Objects. And the end result of this project is going to be to create an online library or gallery of images of places, objects, sites, buildings that have been significant in the history of the Bega Valley. Now, the grant will go towards funding an all-day workshop in April, and during that workshop in the morning there will be a seminar where the museums and societies and individuals who've nominated objects to go onto this register will speak about the object and explain why they think they should be on the register. In the afternoon there will be a bus tour from the Kamaruka to Eden area, and we'll be focusing mainly on sites and places significant to the local Indigenous people, because we regard this as a very important part of our project. So that's what the grant's going for, and we're very grateful to the Foundation. Thank you.
The St Patrick's Public School Student Gardeners Convergence. Sounds a bit terrifying if you ask me.
This will be the 4th convergence in the Shire. It's an opportunity for 10 schools to send a handful of students each to one school to profile and showcase urban agriculture projects and sustainability initiatives in schools. So I've been leapfrogging one school to another over the last 4 years to showcase and show off essentially what that school's unique take is on a sustainability garden project or program. St Pat's is kicking some pretty cool goals at the moment with inception of a chicken coop program, which will be one of the biggest, probably the biggest in the Shire. But it's also been a feature school as far as Costa Georgiadis is concerned, because he's been enjoying coming down to the Shire every year. And between Bamboka Public School, who have partly hosted this year's convergence, which we've had to delay 3 times. Once because Costa was here and we couldn't fit enough in that term, and twice since because of rain, which has been a great excuse to postpone an event. So, yeah, it's look, I really think one of the great achievements of the Mumbulla Foundation is its capacity building, which is, if anyone's going to give me some money that's come from the community, I really want to stretch it out and bring as many people together. So sometimes you can get a big lump of money and it's up to you what you want to do with it, or if it just goes towards an asset. I really appreciate bringing in bundles of money from or commitments from a broad range of networks, and the capacity building, as in the case with Twofold Aboriginal Corporation. We'll talk about that another time. But yeah, to be able generate more and more interest and discussions. That's exactly what those dollars have done in the past, and that's exactly what these dollars will do next year. So look out.
We have Tathra Public School P&C for their Year 6 Leadership Camp. Hello, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Hello everyone, my name's Mika Hart. I am the current Treasurer of the Tathra P&C. Tathra Public School have been running a school-funded Year 6 leadership camp at Bournda for the past 3 years. Next year will be our 4th year. We thank the Mumbulla Foundation for this very kind and generous grant, which allows us to continue this very important camp for our children. The Year 6 Leadership Camp is a local 2-day camp which builds upon the relationships and leadership skills of our Year 6 students. During the camp, students will participate in leadership activities, team building games, mindfulness activities, kayaking, bushwalking, and a bush survival course. The students love the chance to get out in the bush and work together to build closer bonds for their final year of school, both with each other, their teachers, their school principal and visiting staff from Bega High. We have a visiting guest speaker who will also come and talk about their background as a leader and what leadership means to them. So thank you to the Mumbulla Foundation for allowing us to deliver on such a valuable project to our children. Thank you.
Bega Valley Public School P&C. And it's Rod, is it? Oh, and students.
Carol's going to get the cheque and hold that. You want to shake hands?
Congratulations.
Thank you. Grab the money and run. Mayor McMahon and councillors and Mumbulla Foundation, the P&C at Bega Valley does a really important job raising money to put back into the school, and the school really relies on outside money or money from within the school community to do programs, and this actually represents about 5,000 sausages in a sausage sizzle, so very much appreciated. Our program this year, I actually was doing a bit of a head count. I think we're up to, this will put us over $10,000 in Mumbulla Grants in the last 4 years, so thank you. This program that we're doing, the canteen area at Bega Valley's a very high traffic area and gets a bit grotty and it's not very well set out, so it's used obviously for the canteen, but also every morning there's a breakfast club, so the kids that don't get breakfast at home get breakfast when they get to school, which obviously helps their learning. And this grant will allow us to do some seating and tables just so they can sit together and not be eating out of their hands standing up. So thank you very much.
While Olwen lines up the next recipient, I just wanted to mention, while everyone's still here, that of course the Bega Valley Shire Council is the co-partner in all of this funding. So just a big shout out to them, because sometimes they get lost in the mix because Mumbulla Foundation does all of this front of house stuff. So a big yeah to the Shire.
Bermagui Preschool. And we have Narelle, is it? Narelle?
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Bermagui Preschool's been offering quality preschool program to Bermagui and broader community for over 40 years now. We've grown from a preschool that employed 2 teachers, or teacher and a support worker, with only 8 to 12 children. Now we have over 20 employees with over 100 children accessing our service. Thank you to Mumbulla Foundation and also to Council for supporting us to do lots of innovative things at preschool over the years. And one of those things is our Mudgee Garden. The Mudgee Cultural Garden will be created on land that's owned by Merriman's local Aboriginal Lands Council and is currently leased to the preschool. In that space, we hope to grow crops traditionally cultivated by our Aboriginal communities in this region for millennia. So yams, oat grass, native grains, rice bush tucker,
There'll be a focus on connection and biodiversity, renaturing and repatriation of Indigenous plants. Examples of traditional housing, paths, meeting places, fireplaces, totems and shelters will be installed in consultation with Yuan, but more specifically our local Jurunjang elders. We hope to focus on teaching language, culture and traditions to be encouraged in that cultural space. It's a great opportunity for us to correct the misconception and skewed views of Australia being seen as terra nullius by colonial Australians, and hopes to provide an alternative understanding of our rich Aboriginal culture. We were inspired after reading Bruce Pascoe's book, Emu. So we're hoping to create a space where everybody can come together and grow and learn together. We've chosen the name Muji, the local Indigenous word for mate, and we do hope to create a place where friendships are formed and strengthened, children and families can create and work together, and mate shines through.
Excellent.
So it's all about capacity building again, because we've used the grant that you supplied to Twofold Indigenous Corporation, which we're just about to cap off with our full plant out next Friday with Costa Georgiadis. I think Bruce is going to get to that. And ABC of Southeast are finishing off their regional content season by an on-site live broadcast at Twofold as we get the Indigenous students over from the high school to put 64 plant varieties, 400 actual unit plants in the ground in that project. So we got that up and running just for Guyong, and as we were just kicking goals all the way along, and now we've got this model. So not only has Bruce put his stamp of approval and as a consultant to the project, but so is Costa, so he's going to be an ambassador to the project and just a continual visitor and consultant on site design. But we've extended into the community to see what capacity there is to have like an urban food production initiative on site, linking in with Indigenous foods opportunities and processing food waste, which FOGO can't get its head around, because we're right on the edge of the CBD. So yeah, multimodal, many different opportunities and potentials there. So yeah, it's a great project to keep on running.
Now we have life education, and who do we have here? Oh, me, actually. Yes, I haven't got anything to say about it because, no, they didn't send me anything. But they were unable to attend anyway. And I know life education from having small children at one time, many years ago. And Healthy Harold. Do you know Healthy Harold? Yes, well, that's all about life education. And teaching kids about not using drugs and things like that, I think. It's probably updated by now, but that's more or less what it is. So thank you very much for I had nothing to do with life education. And now we've got Merriman's Local Aboriginal Land Council. Yes. And who have we got here? Well, congratulations, and please tell us your story.
On behalf of community, I'd like to thank you.
Okay, all right. So our grant doesn't sound that exciting either because it's for a fence, like the trailer grant, but it's actually a part of a much bigger project that the Wallaga Lake community has been on board with for many, many years. In fact, I think the kids at Wallaga haven't had a playground for
20 years.
20 years or more. Lots of people we know and love.
We travel into town to go to parks, so the kids are very happy to have their own park.
Yeah. So this is a huge achievement for this community. I have to say, about a year ago we did some work with the kids, and they all sat around with their thinking, oh, here we go, Red Cross is going to do another workshop with us, it's going to be boring. But we were like, no, actually we're going to do a workshop, and we've got money. We've secured $60,000 through the Social and Community Housing Fund, and we've also, Red Cross has put in money, Bunnings has put in money, local land care. We're still on to anyone who'll give us money. And we might come back here next year. But the children designed their own playground. That's built now, and what we didn't have was a fence. And so this is really important in terms of safety of the children. It's right on the road.
So it's keep our kids safe.
They do want a swimming pool as well. And what else do they want?
We're a very small community, probably less than 50 people. 20 of that are probably kids.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you very much.
And this is for PCYC Far South Coast. Another tall person. I know you. Oh, Peter. Yes, how are you? Congratulations.
Thanks very much. I had this sort of speech in my head, and then I started seeing all these connections. So my son does bush kinder at Callaroo. The weaving people put up a sock. You put up a Christmas sock, and my son hung up his little socks around the fireplace. But he also put his undies up there as well. I'm not sure what was that for. Pamela Rotary earlier in the year gave PCYC $7,500, and that's kick-started a boxing program which has led on to this funds here. So I can make those links. I've got some great friends from council who I worked with in the past, and you know, it's just those little links. It's just crazy. The Tarsra Footy Club as well. I know Narelle. I know the guys from Corma and Cabargo. So it's just makes you realise all the different things we can all do, and all the things that I potentially could try and do to get our young people active in life. And that's the PCYC philosophy. A bit of an anomaly down on the south coast, which is neither here nor there from my perspective. I've been in the job about 3 months. But I guess the key thing for this project is the funding that came from Pamela Rotary. We started a program called Fit for Life, which is a boxing program that is run in the mornings, on Monday mornings in Eden and Wednesday mornings in Bega. And the youth case manager, who's Senior Constable Sarah Bancroft, she case manages kids across the Shire, does an amazing job with limited resources, and so she brings in those young people to do a boxing program. We're using the money that Pamela Rotary gave us to fund an instructor, so the program has some real succession. And so from that, pretty much into week 2 of the program, this was, sort of before I applied for the money, a couple of kids said, when are we going to do more boxing? And I said, well, I need to get some funding. And of course, my understanding of where money comes from, I got onto Mumbulla straight away. And so we'll be running a boxing program in Eden. It's called Fit for Life Community Boxing Program. It's going to be aimed 2 days a week for about 2 hours in an afternoon, maybe a Tuesday and a Thursday. We'll bring in the young people first, hopefully kids as young as 5 through to about 12 for the first hour. And then the second hour, we'll bring in the teenagers and adults. And for me, I've got the goal in my head is by the end of next year, it'll either be a fully self-funded activity for PCYC down in Eden in terms of people paying a small fee to come along, or we'll get some funding from somewhere else and I'll come back for some more money next year. So look, on behalf of the young people, and I guess we all forget we've been young, and it's really is when I work with these young people, and we're working with some young people who've had pretty tough upbringings as well. PCYC across the state doesn't do that. 95% of its participants are young people and adults who just come from average backgrounds. But what we try and do is bring the revenue that these big clubs earn in Sydney, use that to re-engage with our young people at risk. So, I think about people like Flourish and some of our young women who have gone through some fairly big trauma, and some other groups here, and my mind's ticking over. I don't have enough time in the day. So thanks very much for the money, Council and Mumbulla, and I'll see you guys out there. I'll try and get information out to people in the new year about what we're up to. I know our CEO is going to come down and present to Council in the new year about PCYC, because we've sort of been off the map in terms of, We're going to try and get the CEO to start putting pressure on people in state government and federal government to bring some money to try and get a bit more stuff happening for young people in the Bega Valley. So there's lots of different things we can do. So I'm happy to hear suggestions in the new year about ideas you've got. So we don't just do sport. We can do cultural stuff. We can do music and art and all those sorts of things as well. So look forward to seeing you in the community. Thanks very much.
And we have Chop, Chat and Chew. Who's Chop and who's Chat and who's Chew? Peter Buggy from Sapphire Community Projects. And Michael. Congratulations.
Thank you. Christine asked me to do this talk and I spent a couple of weeks refusing to accept that I was going to do it, so I sort of scribbled some notes I can't read while I was waiting. And I do want to thank the Mumbulla Foundation, the activities that Christine and I have been involved in over the past 4 years or so. Mumbulla Foundation has been an important part of getting those things done. For those that don't know, the community pantry was something that was started a little over a year ago after we spent about 3 years asking other people to start it. And then we gave up and we didn't know what we were doing, and we had, which is the case in most of the things we do, and we had incredible help from the community. People like Pambula Rotary threw in some money for the seed funding. Most of the other local clubs did as well. I can't remember who else. The Salvation Army gave us a space to operate out about the size of a telephone booth, and we did put in an offer to swap places with them, but they said no. And we knew from day one it was going to be a success. And Women's Resource Centre too was a very important part of that, because they gave us the security to be able to open the door, which was coverage for insurance purposes. One of the programs, the Chop, Chat, Chew program, came about because food is central to our life. We can't exist without food. And it's also a great mechanism to bring people together. So we started working with people that were suffering anxiety. They might have been coming out of major mental health issues, or people with disabilities. And with the help of the Masons in Bega, who gave us a free space to operate, we started the Chop, Chat, Chew programs. Also Campbell Page in Eden, we ran some early ones, including with the PCYC. And from that, it's become a very important program. It's not an in-your-face program, and it's really done by word of mouth and through other organisations, and occasionally we publicise it. Would you like to come along, etc. And basically we get a group of up to about 6 people, usually with some sort of common thread together, and it's more the social interaction around cooking. Now what this grant from the Mumbulla Foundation does is it's going to allow us to bring it into our home, the community pantry in Peden Street. It's the start of that process, and it's actually related to a number of other projects which you don't know about. They're all interrelated, and we try to build these synergies about the things that we do. Bringing the cooking in, initially it's going to be done by doing 2 things. One is we're buying a portable sink unit. It's a triple sink unit that's a fully commercially, what do you call it? It gets the tick of approval when you go through that process. It's got its own built-in heater, it's got its own built-in water storage and waste storage, and it can also be plumbed in. The reason it's portable is we're in rented place. We don't want to leave it behind when we go. We want to be able to take it, and we also need a flexible space. The other thing that's going with that is a stainless steel workbench cupboard, which allows us to store some things. And so that's part one of the project. That will allow us to bring the cooking in using things like electric fry pans and, microwave ovens and stuff like that, which is how we started this program. We didn't start it in a kitchen. We started it on benches and tables in the Campbell Page at Eden. The next stage following on from this is we're going to, and we've got money from somewhere else, which this came afterwards. We're going to get a espresso machine, grinder, a cart for that and stuff, and we're going to start teaching barista skills and hospitality training, and that's going to be done in conjunction with TAFE and Disability Trust and other organisations. And then finally we might wind up with a proper kitchen in our community pantry, which is stage 3. So this is the start of great things to come. It's an important social builder, and thank you very much. And yeah.